This is the Advanced Virtual Facilitation Workshop for Tech Week 2020. And we're still waiting on a couple of people. One of them said that she may not be able to attend, but I've got a recording later that I'll share with everybody afterwards. And this is the agenda of what we're going to discuss today. We're going to talk about how icebreakers can help a group cohere. And we're going to role play some icebreaker exercises. We'll go over some conversational questions for facilitating discussions. We're going to practice breakout rooms, not just ourselves, but also you're going to practice launching. A couple of volunteers are going to launch breakout rooms so you can see what it's like. We'll do some virtual backgrounds, and I'll share with you the best virtual backgrounds on the web. And if we have time, we're going to get into some specifics on how to schedule, share, and send calendar invitations. And then we're going to do some whiteboard collaboration using 3 different virtual whiteboard platforms. Hi, Maureen. Thanks for joining us. I'm glad you made it just in time, because what I'd like to do is turn off these slides and come into gallery view. There's a button in the upper right-hand corner of your Zoom panel that says either speaker view or gallery view. And go ahead and toggle into gallery view so that we can see everybody. And what I'd like to do is go around and have everyone introduce themselves. Tell us who you are, what you do, and why you're amazing. Kirsty, why don't you start us off?
I have to go first.
You arrived first.
I am obsessively early to everything. It's just who I am. My name's Kirsty. I work for the government, so Ministry for Primary Industries in Learning and Development. And so, you know, this year we have pretty much adapted all our face-to-face training to virtual training, which is constant Zooming. Yeah, and why I'm awesome. One of the programs that we adapted from face-to-face to online is up for an international award. So super psyched, super pumped. Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations. That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Geraldine, tell us about you.
Gosh, I'm a researcher and a writer, and I made the momentous decision, not that I need another qualification, but to do a master's degree in experience design, really for the networks. And that's remotely, so it's through Victoria University. So there's a lot of remote classwork. And I had some wonderful experiences through Tech Week. So, you know, thus the connection with Tech Week, but some great experiences with the Future of Work Collective that we're offering workshops as well. And just opening up the space for more Zoom interaction. So I'm really interested to become more proficient with Zoom. Oh, what makes me amazing? Oh, I'm just interested in everything. Really curious, very curious, endlessly curious, lifelong learner and all of that.
That's a great quality in somebody who's studying for their master's degree, because there's always more to learn, right?
I love being a student. That's my happy place.
Great. Well, thank you for coming. Shannon, tell us about you.
I'm from Christchurch, and I'm PMO manager at the Canterbury District Health Board. It's been a really great role there, and in terms of being amazing, I'm constantly loving to learn new things, similar to Geraldine. Not that I have a degree or a master's or anything though. I just like to find lots of things that are interesting, and then I study them to death, and then I find something new. So I suffer from what's called popcorn thoughts, where there's constantly things going through my mind. What if, what would this do, etc. So that's me.
Great. Awesome. Great to meet you, Shannon. So Maureen, tell us about you.
Yeah, hi guys, and sorry for my late arrival. Okay. I bought a ticket just a few minutes before the start. And so of course the emails to come through for the link, they didn't arrive until just then when I basically have 2 jobs or 2 passions. So one's I work for the government in innovative building product, and then the other one is sort of helping out. Well, I've got a startup where we're looking at innovative solutions, and so supporting young people through that. Yeah, so the reason that I'm on this one is actually because we've got a group of these young people have an entry into the Spark 5G Starter Fund, which closes in 16 days. And one of those is actually around how to create better connections through online learning.
Nice.
Yeah, so what I figured is that I would jump in on this one because they've jumped in on other ones all week, and see what snippets I can take through. So their main, as you all know, you can't get proper eye-to-eye connection on a Zoom call because your camera is never the eyes of the people that you're looking at. So you know, that's actually quite a challenge. So this is around a tech solution for that, but also trying to get looking at in a teacher-student kind of relationship, how do we you know, maintain that engagement, which is mostly, it's going to be mostly around content, enhancing the content, but doing it in real time. So not so much what you know, we will be working through here, Caelan, but it's really just to try and see if there's sort of little insights that I can glean.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm sure there's going to be some great insights, and I'll share one with you right now for the eye-to-eye issue. You know, what I typically do is I move my Zoom window around so that the person that I want to look at, whether it's another person or because I'm vain and want to make sure that I look good on here, whether it's myself, I put that right under my camera. So by moving it around, I can look at the camera, take a quick look down at what I want to see, and then look up. And it functionally looks like I'm looking at you, even though right now I'm looking just below the camera.
Yeah, that's great. Of course, we have a lot of setups now where we've all got additional monitors.
Yeah,
and so of course, if we've got lots of people, it's nice to actually have that on our monitor, which of course doesn't tend to be where our webcam is.
True.
Yeah, I really like that. That's the great tip. Thank you.
Great. Well, we're going to go through a lot more.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm going to share my screen with you so that we can get into some of the content that we're going to share here. And what we're going to start with is the icebreaker exercises. And icebreakers are really great for facilitating discussion, because when you're halfway through a meeting, if you make the first invitation for somebody to talk with you, it's going to be really clunky. But if you start with connection before you get into content, you cohere as a group, and the entire group feels more likely to participate. What Peter Block says, with his little heart stamp right there, well done, whoever did that, he says we must establish a personal connection with each other. Connection before content. Because without relatedness, no work can occur. And so that's why I feel that the icebreaker is so important. Those of you who were here early, you saw that there was a whiteboard with an exercise for us to do. And I really like having an unofficial start, because if somebody arrives early, it provides a framework for us to relate and to interact. Instead of sitting around and twiddling our thumbs and being uncomfortable with each other, there's something for us to share. There's something for us to do. And it also extends the official start of the content until just a few minutes after. And a lot of people, when we're in back-to-back Zoom meetings, you wait until the minute of, oh, it's 9 o'clock, I got to start now. I'm going to open this calendar invitation. I got to open Zoom. Oh, wait, I'm having a thing. And so it's quite often that people won't show up until 2 or 3 minutes past the hour. And with an unofficial start serving as a buffer, you provide the space for people to enter at the time that they can. Here's some questions that I like to use as icebreakers. And you can do like I do, where you put it up on the whiteboard and you invite people to type. But what a lot of people do is they offer this in conversation. They'll encourage people to go into gallery view and say, hey, where in the world are you right now? Type it in the chat. Let me know where you are right now. What's your best purchase for under $100? What's a weird fact or legend about the place you were born? These are questions that anybody can answer, that are impersonal enough that you can use them with strangers and facilitate a good discussion. And I'm going to share these questions with you in the slides, which you received a link to this morning, and I'll send again with the replay. I'm also going to paste these in chat in just a minute because we're going to role play some of these. For somebody who is in a regular team with you that you see meeting after meeting, sometimes a conversational question is going to be more effective than an impersonal question. Talking to them about the habits that they're cultivating, about their most memorable day, about how they're handling everything that's happening in the world right now. Well, Gonzalo Hall says that if you just offer the space for someone to be a person before you get into the work, that you're creating a better culture for your team. And so that's why I always try and schedule some conversation time into my meetings. And if you're working with somebody who you already have a relationship with, you can get deeper with personal questions. What could have gone better for you this week? If you're doing a retrospective on a project, knowing what you know now, what could you have done differently? What do you want to spend less time on? Or my favorite dangerous question, what's something you believe that most people think is crazy? So I'm going to go ahead and pop these questions into chat so that you have these. You can feel free to copy and paste these into any program where you want to keep them. Oh, I have to get to chat through here. Here we go. And I'm also putting these in chat because we're going to practice these. Hold on. It's not letting me chat here. Okay, I've got to stop sharing my screen because Zoom is saying that my chatting isn't working. Oh no. Forgive me, I'm having a technical glitch here. And I'm unable to chat.
Can you not type anything into the chat box?
I can't, no. It's giving me the same error that I would usually see on a whiteboard. Like if I, yeah. Let me try sharing the whiteboard again.
Nice, Kirsty. We both have the same idea.
Like, let's start troubleshooting.
Yeah.
Great. Sorry about this. I'm just going to have to go ahead and skip it if this doesn't work.
Do you want to try typical go in and go out and come back in again?
Well, I'm worried about doing that, Maureen, because it might mess up the meeting and kick everybody out.
You can make someone else host if you want to go out.
Brilliant idea.
Make me host.
I'm going to make you the host, Kirsty. Boom.
Yes.
Might not let you back in if there's a waiting room.
Okay, I'm going to pop right back in.
I'm going to go rogue.
You've done this a few times, haven't you, Kirsty?
Yeah. Okay, here he is. No waiting room feature.
Hooray. Yeah, I don't like waiting rooms. And I can't use the chat. That's bizarre.
Okay.
But you know what I can do? I can upload a file. So I'm just going to go ahead and upload this file right here for questions. My apologies. Zoom has this known error where if when you're sharing a screen, it won't let you see your mouse. And then there's another one where when you use the annotation toolbar, you can't get your cursor back until you close the toolbar. So this probably has something to do with that. And I'm not sure.
And also, when you're sharing screens, you can't see if participants raise their hands or anything like that.
Right.
And,
Great. Well, I'm glad we're back on track now. You've got the questions. And what I'd like to do right now is role play. I'd like us all to turn our cameras off and have one volunteer be the host and keep your camera on. And then one by one, let's turn our cameras on as if we're arriving and the host can ask questions of us, okay? So everybody turn off your camera except for the volunteer. Last one to turn their camera off is the volunteer.
No, it's not me. I can't get the questions, sorry.
Oh, you can't get the questions.
No, but I'll try again.
Yeah, I don't have the questions either.
Jinkies. My apologies.
Jinkies.
Okay. Well, let's use this question. And Maureen, do you feel comfortable being the first volunteer?
Sorry, I'm actually still sort of settling into the session, if you don't mind. I haven't even been listening properly because I've got a bit of a funny setup with my laptop and I'm just trying to sort it.
Gotcha. Well, Kirsty, can you volunteer for us?
Sure thing.
Great, thank you. So select one of the questions. Look at that. Shannon, you're brilliant. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah.
Why don't you pick one of those questions, and as we arrive, greet us and ask the question.
Ooh,
Good? Doo-doo.
Hello. Oh, you both arrived at the same time. Caelan and Geraldine. Whereabouts in the country are you zooming in from this morning?
I'm from the Hawke's Bay at the moment.
Nice, nice.
I'm in Martinborough.
Nice.
Nice.
I'm curious. I'm going to ask you a crazy question. What book has had the most impact on your life recently? I love this. Hi, Shannon. Oh, we've got show and tell. Oh, Tim Ferriss. I have that. I love it.
Such a good one.
So good. Yeah, that's a good one. Have you like done anything that he suggested, like your morning routine and things like that?
Yeah. There was a lot of really practical tips from his guests. You know, it's basically a digest of his podcast. Yeah. And lots of great tips in there.
Shannon, hi. We're just talking about the most impactful book that we've read recently. Geraldine, what about you?
So my challenge to myself is to try and read 15 pages a day of a novel. So I'm working my way through Hilary Mantel's The Mirror and the Light, all about Thomas Cromwell. But it's beautifully put together, really strong narrative. It's great.
Love it. Hi, Maureen.
Hi.
Hi, we're just talking about the book that we've read most recently that has had the biggest impact. Shannon, did you have an answer at all?
Well, look, I didn't read it. I listened to Schools of Titans. Very good. I'm slowly working through the 4-hour work week at the moment. But as I said with Popcorn Thoughts, I tend to dabble in lots of different things simultaneously.
Yeah, I love that, Popcorn Thoughts. Like, I've never heard that before. I love it. Maureen, what about you? Have you read anything good lately?
Yeah, hi guys. Probably nothing that actually comes to mind. I read maybe also a Popcorn Thought person. Yeah. Quite a bit of content. Definitely have enjoyed Tech Week. Immersed in content and read things that can't fall out of those.
Yeah, I often have a few going on at the same time. And I have to remember to read for fun, not just to learn. But a good one I read recently was Ride of a Lifetime by Bob Iger. He used to be the CEO of Disney for years and years and years, and he's written a book, and it's really good.
Wow.
Caelan, just stop me anytime because I will talk all day.
Well, I think that's a good place for us to transition. Everybody give a round of applause.
Oh, fantastic.
Sign language. Love it.
Great. That was great.
That was really good.
Really good for a Saturday morning. Wonderful.
So do you notice how we feel as a group right now?
Yeah.
We feel more connected. And if you create an avenue for this connection before you get into content, it helps decrease the likelihood that people are going to be distracted with their email or the internet or anything else, because there's an obligation to stay a part of this group when you create that connection. So that's one of the great things about icebreaker exercises. What I'd like to share with you next is, before we get into discussion on conversation questions, is I'd like to share a way that you can select who's going to talk. And there's two ways to do it. The first way we're going to do it is we're going to open the participants panel. If you look in your Zoom toolbar where it says participants, you can open up the panel to see a list of everybody who's attending. And you can hover over your own name where it says more, and you can go to rename. And what I'd like you to do is to put before your name a number and a dash. Okay, so Kirsty, you're 1. Geraldine, you're 2. Shannon, you're 3. Maureen, you're 4. And I'm going to be 5. So now that we've all renamed ourselves, if we want to open a discussion question, we know the order. We don't have to figure out who's going next. Isn't that great?
That's really cool.
Great. Okay, now I'm going to share with you another way to select who's going next. And to do this, I have to share my screen. And I'm coming over to a tool called Flippity. And flippity.net, I would paste in the chat, but I can't, my apologies. But this has a lot of great free tools on moderating and facilitating virtual meetings. There's a quiz show, there's Mad Libs, there's kinesthetic exercises, there's all sorts of great stuff. But what I want to share with you is the name picker. You can either use the demo or you can download the template, which gives you a Google Drive folder. And I'll show you how that works in just a second. This is what I put in before the meeting. And it's an easy way that you can just click on it and it spins the wheel and it says, who's going to go next? The person answering this question is Shannon. Yay. But if you notice, the names aren't quite correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over into this Google Drive spreadsheet and I'm going to change it. We have Caelan, we have Geraldine, we don't have Andrew, we've got Shannon, we don't have Biddy, we've got Kirsty, and I need to add Maureen. Okay, so I've made these changes in the spreadsheet. I'm going to come over to this Flippity page and I'm just going to refresh it. And it gives me the new layout. So I can say, all right, now we have an accurate number. And the way that you get this Flippity link, it's really simple. When you get your, you have to make a copy of the Google Drive template from Flippity, and it'll put this in your Google Drive. You add the names you want here. You can't even add photos if you want. And then you go over to get the link here. The first thing you have to do is to go to File, Publish to the Web. And after you do that, this link is live. And you're ready to go. It's 3 simple steps. So if you want to watch this in the recording later, it'll go through all the steps again. It also has a couple of different features where you can pick somebody at random. But what I really like is the lineup. So I can shuffle everyone here and say, okay, Kirsty, you're going to go first. And then you talk. And then after your turn, it's Maureen's turn. It's Shannon's turn. It's a really practical way to make sure that everybody has a chance to participate in a discussion.
Caelan, and I'm sorry, can you just confirm, so you're not just giving us the slides, you're actually giving us this whole presentation?
That's right. Yeah, I'll send you the report as well.
Thank you.
You bet.
Cool. And so what do you prefer to use? The names, the numbers,
the spinner.
Or the spinner?
I use the spinner quite a lot. Well, I also use the game show. I think the game show is super fun. Let's we'll give a quick try on the game show, just to see how that goes. So I'm just going to use the demo. So I won't, if you get a Google Drive template, you can change all the categories, you can change all the questions. And so for right now, I'm just going to rename everybody here. We've got Kirsty, we've got Geraldine, we've got Shannon, and Maureen. Okay, so I'm going to ask everybody a trivia question. You ready? We're going to talk about movies for 300. What Sandra Bullock movie was originally entitled Coma Guy? No?
No, not me. I don't know.
Anybody know? It was called While You Were Sleeping.
Coma Guy.
Coma Guy, right? Who did World Capitals for 100? What capital city opened the first subway in 1863? So what you can do to facilitate this on Zoom is you can ask your participants to type in private chat to you. So that way everybody else doesn't see the answers. And if Kirsty gets it right and she says it was London, but Geraldine says, oh, is it Budapest? No, it's not Budapest. And so it's a neat way to score points. And so then after you come out of this question, it keeps score for you. So this is a really fun interactive tool that I highly recommend.
No, that would be that well received, would it?
Yeah.
You'd have to have some sort of, well, I'm just sort of thinking, yeah.
So can you write your own questions?
You sure can. Yeah.
So you can make it related to what you're doing.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I hosted a quiz show with a bunch of clowns last month from the Del Arte International School of Physical Theater. I went there 20 years ago. And we got together for an alumni reunion on Zoom. And so I wrote these Del Arte trivia questions, and we had a blast going through the show.
Great.
Great. So that's an example of an interactive exercise. And I'd like to do another exercise real quickly before we move on. And this is called a scavenger hunt. We're going to take a couple of minutes to find items in our environment. I'd like everybody to take 30 seconds and find something that's blue. Can you bring something blue to the camera and show everybody something that's blue? Aha, this is a good one. 10 seconds. All right, does everybody have something blue? Great. Great. Okay, first round's done.
Wait,
now
what is that you've got? What is that?
This is my son got a processor for his birthday, and
Okay.
this is the case that it came in. So next, I'd like everybody to find something that's borrowed. Something you borrowed from someone else.
Oh.
You're borrowing cards? Awesome.
It's not it's my work credit card.
There you go. That's technically borrowed. Nothing? Okay, no points for Shannon. Everybody keep your points together.
All these points.
Yep.
All these points, yes, that makes it different.
Yep. Third item in the scavenger hunt, something from another country. What can you find that's from another country? Ah. 10 seconds. Great. You guys win this one. I don't even have this one. Awesome. Wow, those are some cool things.
Yeah.
Look at that. Okay, for the fourth item in the scavenger hunt, find something that your parents wouldn't understand. If you showed it to them, they wouldn't get what it is.
It's the same thing.
The same thing. They totally wouldn't understand that.
No.
Parents wouldn't get.
Aha.
No, I don't know if I know.
10 seconds.
Nice.
All right. All right, so for the final item in the scavenger hunt, this is number 5. Find the oldest thing you have. The oldest thing that is within eyesight.
Oh.
What is the oldest? Oh, good idea, Maureen.
Hey.
Yeah. 10 seconds.
I don't really have anything old.
Hey, Shannon's got a twofer.
You're just so young, Kirsty.
Nice, Geraldine. Okay, now keep holding it up if it's more than 5 years old. Keep holding it up if it's more than 10 years old.
Oh, this is tense.
Keep holding it up if it's more than 20 years old. 100 years old.
Wow.
Wow.
200 years old.
Yeah. I mean,
It's a
these
stone.
will be right.
It's a stone, right? It's
Yeah.
geologic.
Yeah.
Well done, everybody. Thank you for participating in the scavenger hunt.
Shannon, what was yours? What were you holding up? Oh,
On
you're on
mute.
mute. Oh, yeah.
Nope, you're still muted.
Still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry, my Zoom has dropped out a couple of times. I'm not sure why. So it's actually a carved wooden fruit bowl that my grandmother carved on a farm.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, although it could have been carved before that, but I think it was my grandmother. She was very crafty.
Awesome.
Oh, and what was that pyramid you had, Kirsty?
Have you seen Star Wars?
Yeah.
It's a holocron. You know, from Star Wars.
What does it do?
I I don't know. Sometimes if you push the right buttons, it talks and stuff. It's from the new Star Wars movies. It's like a map, and yeah, we got it from Disney World at Star Wars Land.
Oh, that's great. So that's an example of a game.
Yeah, that's good.
And inserting games into your presentations, it keeps the energy up. And a lot of times we get Zoom fatigue because we're doing the same thing and we're not contributing. But if you take a couple minutes to host a game, it instantly raises the energy. Everybody has fun, everybody's participating, everybody's contributing. And the more that you can get people contributing, the more that they'll participate, the more that they'll pay attention. So let's jump back into the slides, because I want to review these questions. And really what I want to do is I want to make a point about what the questions do. Questions empower your participants. When you can hold up a question to show them a side of themselves that they don't often get to show, you know, how good did we feel when we were sharing our books? This is a book that was meaningful to me. This is a book that changed me. We get to share with other people something that's personal and that matters. The more that you can cultivate that sort of interaction, the better. And one of the best ways to do this is with breakout rooms. You know, breakout rooms are ways that you can offer people the opportunity to go deeper. Because the superficial questions that work for strangers that are just meeting for the first time, they don't work for somebody 3 hours in to a team work retreat. And if you're engaging with somebody and you want to know what's really underneath this, you know, an answer to a question is often the tip of the iceberg. And when you dig deeper, you can find out what's actually under that. And these deepening questions come from the 5 whys. The 5 whys were used by Toyota in the 80s. They were not a great car company. They didn't have large market share, and their cars weren't that good. And so they started implementing the 5 whys. And anytime somebody would offer an answer to a question, they would dig deeper. They'd say, why is that? Why does that happen? Why that way and not something else? And they would ask why 5 times and get 5 different answers. And it enabled them to find out what was underneath their superficial answer. And so that's something I'd like to do with a breakout room. We're gonna break off into pairs, and I'd like one of you to role play the host and the other one to role play the guest. And when you go into your breakout rooms, oh, thank you for making me the host, Kirsty. That means I can do breakout rooms again. When you go into breakout rooms, let's not nominate. The person with the shortest hair is the host. Sound good? Shortest hair is the host. No, Shannon says no, that's not good. Okay, so the longest hair is the host, okay? So the person with the longest hair is the host. And when you come into a group together, the host is going to say, thank you for attending this meeting on this topic. I am, and introduce yourself, and I'd like to ask you a question. And ask one of the questions that we have here in the chat box, okay?
Which ones?
We've got the questions here in the chat box. Go ahead and pick which one you think is going to be the right one that you want to start with. We're just going to be in breakout rooms for 2 minutes, and then I'll bring you back into the main session, okay? Great. All right, for those of you on the recording, you should probably know breakout rooms are not recorded unless the host goes to the breakout room. Then the recording follows the host. So sometimes when I'm facilitating a breakout room, I like to go into a dance party just in case somebody watches on the recording. But YouTube started knocking me for copyright infringement because I was playing somebody else's music. So no dance party for you. Go ahead and give them a 60-second warning. Great. 10 seconds and they'll be coming back in. All right. How was that?
We had a little bit of what do you call it? Like the connection wasn't the best sort of thing, not the personal connection, the actual internet connection. But yeah, that was good. It was good knowing about asking the why. Yeah.
Great. You're on mute, Geraldine.
You're on mute, Geraldine.
I don't think I gave Kirsty the space to answer why.
That's fine.
I just kept talking.
That's great.
Something about the breakout rooms, Caelan, if I can ask a question about that, is
Sure.
that we often find that we're just pulled out so quick because it's really hard to judge. Once you get down to 5 seconds, it's really hard for people to judge whether they can complete their sentence or not.
Mm-hmm. True.
It would be nice to have an option where you're told that, or that you're given a 5-second buffer or a 10-second buffer. So you're under the impression you're going to get pulled out sooner, but it actually delays it by 5 seconds or something.
Oh, that would be good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I'd like to do next is go through some of the variables of breakout rooms, some of the toggles and switches you can use to extend that warning time and to decide who you're going to put in there. And so what I'd like to do next is to play a brief video that describes the different capabilities that breakout rooms have. And the reason I find breakout rooms so useful is because they keep everyone together. You know, I see a virtual meeting like a convoy, where a convoy can only move at the speed of the slowest vessel. And if some people in the discussion go way fast and you're leaving people behind, the meeting itself has been broken. But if you can keep everybody together, then the meeting moves at a steady pace. And that's one of the things that breakout rooms help us do. They help us all participate. You might have people that are quiet in the main session, but then in a smaller group in a breakout session, they feel comfortable and confident in sharing what they really think. And so this is a 3-minute video that talks about how to launch breakout rooms and manipulate the variables.
Hey everyone, Farah from Zoom here. On this brief video, we're going to show you how you can leverage our breakout room feature to take a large meeting or virtual classroom and split it up into smaller groups or sessions. You'll see that I have already enabled the breakout room feature, which you can find in your settings along the bottom. And that breakout room button will actually be right here. This is a button that only your hosts or co-hosts will be able to see. And right now we don't have a co-host in the session. If I manage my participants, I can hover over Catherine, for example, to make her a co-host. So she'll see this button now as well. When we're ready to split the group into smaller sessions, I can easily click this button to get a pop-up window asking me how many rooms I'd like to assign out and how many participants per room. For this example, it's recommending, since there are 6 people, we can split it up into 2 rooms. I can do this automatically or manually. So if we click on the automatic button, it'll generate those breakout rooms for us. Certainly, if there's anyone I want to swap out, maybe I want to move Michael to the other room, I can exchange him for a different participant. Once I'm ready to open all rooms, I'll click this Open All Rooms button, and our participants will be able to join the sessions that we've created for them. So we'll slowly see those people join. One thing that's really important to note is that as a host or a co-host, you can actually hop between the different rooms to talk to the participants. You can see here I have the Join button. Now everybody's left to go to the rooms. I can broadcast a message to everybody and say, wrapping up in 1 minute. And this will broadcast the message. And then I can close the rooms, which gives them a 1 minute timer to rejoin our session. We'll give everybody a second to rejoin, and I'll show you 1 or 2 additional features with breakout rooms. There we go. We can kind of see everybody kind of popping back in. Now everybody's rejoined the main session. You'll see that I have the opportunity to reopen these rooms again, which is really great. If you have a very long session or very long virtual class, you can split into these virtual smaller groups as often as you'd like. And the additional options here will allow you to automatically close breakout rooms after a specified amount of time. You can also change the countdown timer to be 30 seconds or 2 minutes if you like. I'll show you a setting where you can also pre-assign folks to be in your breakout room before the classroom starts. You'll want to navigate over to the class that's already been created in your Zoom portal. Under the Meetings tab, you can find your meeting. Scrolling all the way to the bottom, you'll see if we open this to re-edit it, I have the opportunity to pre-assign a breakout room here, and I can create the rooms and upload a CSV with all of my participants in advance so that their names are already populated in the room when I start the session. That's basically how you can run breakout rooms. We hope you found this video helpful. If you have any additional questions, please visit us at support.zoom.us. Thanks so much for watching. Take care.
Okay. So would anyone like to try launching breakout rooms? Yeah, Shannon? Excellent. Okay.
It just depends on my network. I seem to be having problems. So if I drop out, then give it to someone else.
Okay. Well, I'm going to make you the host. And you should see a button in your toolbar that says breakout rooms. Do you see the button?
Yeah, I've clicked on it. It's not seeing you though to put you in a breakout room. So
That might be because I'm
on her own.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. We're just going to go to the breakout rooms and then come back.
Okay.
And while you're in there, if you have somebody else in there with you, find out how many things you have in common.
I'm going to give you 30 seconds.
Oh.
Okay, I'll give you 60 seconds. How about that?
Great.
Okay, let's put you in with us, Caelan.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing the invitation to go to the breakout room. Probably because I created the meeting.
Yeah, it wouldn't. Hold on. I'll assign you to breakout room 1. It didn't automatically assign you like everyone else.
All right. Well done, Shannon. That was great. Oh, you're on mute. Yeah, it's this Zoom setting. It mutes everybody when it comes in.
And I said, give me technology. I'm very happy with technology.
Great. Great. Well, technology seems to be happy with you too.
Constantly dropping in and out earlier, but that's okay.
Yeah, you're here now.
So Caelan, you obviously have a business that pulls in this kind of thing. You probably introduced yourself at the start and I missed that. Do you mind giving me?
Sure. Yeah, I run a digital marketing agency.
Right, cool.
Yeah, and I've been doing a lot of this train the trainer, learn how to get better on Zoom ever since quarantine started. So,
right.
Welcome back, Kirsty and Geraldine. Thanks so much. How did that go for you?
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. How many did you get? How many things do you have in common?
We went for quality over quantity, really. We found some really specific, unique things that we had in common. So we win, I think.
Now, what's the number? Come on, we want a number.
Quality over quantity is what we went for.
It's okay. We didn't get many.
Okay.
Yeah, we got up to 10 and we were really going for quantity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Great. Excellent. Great. Thanks for doing that exercise with me. That was really fun. So that's the kind of exercise that works for just about anybody. But other exercises work well for different types of learners. And there's 3 different types of learners. There are, here, let me get my slides going again. There are visual learners, auditory learners, and kinesthetic learners. Visual learners learn by seeing something. Auditory learners learn by hearing something. And kinesthetic learners learn by touching something. 50% of people are visual learners. And if you show them something, they're going to get it. 40% of people are auditory learners, and they need to hear it for them to really get it. But 10% of people are kinesthetic, and I'm a kinesthetic learner. And so I'm really sensitive to how does this exercise, how is this going to be interpreted by everyone? And the easiest type of exercise you could do to convey information is a video. Because with a video, you're showing something and they're hearing something. So you're going to get 90% of people that way. And in a little bit, I'll talk about some options for kinesthetic exercises on how you can engage kinesthetic learners. But first, I want to dive deep into videos, because sharing videos on Zoom is something that is a really practical way to convey a whole lot of information. That video that we watched on the breakout rooms, I could have taken 10 or 15 minutes to go through everything that video covered. But by sharing the video, it took me 3. And I could give you a brief, digestible amount of information, really condensed. And so the easiest way to share a video is to just share your desktop. And when you hit share a screen in Zoom, you're given some options. Do you want to share all of your screen, which is what I'm doing right now? Do you want to share only one window, which means you can only see that window? Do you want to share an external device or a whiteboard? Now, can anybody see a potential problem with not choosing your desktop as what you're sharing? What could happen?
Well, you might think you're sharing one screen and you're not.
Exactly
Or
right.
if you share it, well, that's if you're sharing one screen, but there's also problems if you're sharing your desktop, because if you've got pop-ups from your email or other things, and those could pull up in your video. So there's pros and cons to both.
Exactly right. And which one you choose here is a matter of style. Some people like to choose the individual window because they have so many other things that they don't want their participants to see. But when you choose the window, like let's say you choose your slides to share your slides. If there's a website that you want to go to in the middle of your presentation to demonstrate something, you can go over to that website and keep on talking and not realize that your audience hasn't come along with you. And so you can often get disoriented because what you see isn't what your audience sees. But for some people, it works a lot better to share those individual windows. For myself, I like sharing the desktop. Yeah, Shannon.
I find, sorry, I'm a techno guru. I like these things. I find if you've got multiple screens, if you dedicate a screen to the presentation, anything you drag on that screen is what they're seeing, and you put the video on the screen, well, your camera on the screen that you're looking directly at, and then I have OneNote on another screen where I take my notes, so that way so I'm using 3 screens at the moment, for instance. So I'm looking at you at the central one, but the slides on the right hand, which is what I would share with other people if I was presenting, and then OneNote on the left with my notes.
Brilliant.
Or agenda if I was facilitating the meeting.
Yeah, that's the gold standard. If you share a separate monitor, that way you know that on that monitor is whatever they're seeing. So if I had different monitors hooked up here, then Zoom would give me different options for these different monitors. But what it gives me here is, do I want to share a desktop? Do I want to share this window? Do I want to plug in an external device, which allows me to either navigate there, or what a lot of people do is they draw on it. You know, so you can use a stylus and you can draw in a notes program so that people can see what you're putting there. Mm-hmm. And then there's the whiteboard, which you saw when you entered earlier. Now, which one of these would be best for sharing a video, do you think?
I would say screen.
The screen? Mm-hmm.
Or window if you've got multiple monitors.
Mm-hmm. What problems could your headset cause?
Oh, yeah. Feedback.
Mm-hmm. How so?
Well, because you've got the volume coming out of your device, going through your own microphone and then out to everyone else. So whereas they're getting that, so they're getting that twice. Could be feedback on that.
I've had that a few times with guest speakers who don't know, and so they can hear the music, but no one else can hear the video audio, and so they think it's fine, but it's not until halfway through the video people go, we can't actually hear it, and so they have to restart the video and click the box that Caelan is no doubt going to show you.
That's right.
Yeah, I was going to say you do that.
This is the box. After you hit share screen, the first tick box is to share the computer sound, so that whatever's playing in the computer, even if it's only coming through your headset, is also heard by your participants. But this second box is optimize screen share for video clip. And this is used for the specific case of streaming a video through a website. I didn't need to tick this big box for the previous video that we just watched because the entire video is in my slides. But if we're going to stream from the internet, and on the next video, I'll stream from the internet, and I won't tick this box so that you can see what happens. This box either lets you see things clearly or see things move. Those are the two options here. If it's off, it means that you can see things clearly, but I'm going to tick this box and then show you this same slide. Okay, so I'm going to stop share. I'm going to share screen and optimize for video clip and pull this slide back full screen. Does this look different? Or does it look the same?
I was going to say that it's not as clear, but I can't quite remember. I think it's not as sharp, isn't it?
That's right. It's not as sharp because it's optimized for streaming video. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to untick this box and I'll share with you what happens when it's unticked and you play a streaming video. Okay. And we're going to do this by talking about polls. Has anybody ever taken a poll before in Zoom? Yeah? Well, I'll tell you what, let me go ahead. Oh no, Zoom, what are you doing?
I don't know how to stop co-hosting with you.
Just hover over his name until the little blue options come up. Click on more and then make host.
You still are? Oh, there we go.
Great.
you.
Okay, great. Thank you for doing that. Okay, now let's do a quick poll. Have you ever done a poll before? Before today, anyway. Yeah, okay. Looks like everybody has done a poll. All right, so now you can see the answers. We can all share what the responses are, but we can't determine what's right and what's wrong. And so polls actually aren't good for quizzes, because quizzes have right and wrong answers. And if we do a multiple choice quiz and there's 4 options for the questions, we can share what everybody said, but we have to rely on conversation to determine what's right and what's incorrect. Okay. So now I'm going to share with you what happens when you are, when you're launching a poll, and this video is not optimized. It's 1 minute long. Hey, this is Caelan again, showing you what Zoom won't show you on a screen share. So I've got this option here for polling, and what I see is the questions that I've put into Zoom. If you add questions in a poll, it actually takes you back to the Zoom interface and you have to enter it over there. And then you get this window that I can't show you on a screen share. But if I click launch poll, then everybody sees one set, and I'll show you after the screencast. I'll launch a poll so that you can see it. But this is what the host sees. The host sees people the answers coming in. Here, let me, on my phone here, there's a poll in progress. I'm going to do an answer and submit it. And then I can see how people answer as the answers come in. And I can leave this going as long as I like, but then I click end poll. And I get to see the results, but I don't share them with everybody else unless I click share results. And this stays up until I click the stop sharing button. Okay? And so now I'll do this live on our training webinar so that you can see what it looks like from your end. Okay, so how was the video quality there?
Laggy.
It was laggy, huh?
Mm.
It was fine on my side.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, let me try playing that video again, ticking that box. And I'll just play the first few seconds of it so we can see if there's a difference. Hey, this is Caelan again, showing you what Zoom won't show you on a screen share. So I've got this option here for polling, and what I see is the question. How did that look?
That one's out of sync.
Still laggy.
Yeah?
Same on my side.
Yeah, and well, for me, it wasn't, the definition wasn't there either. It was, yeah.
Interesting. So how can you test this if you're preparing a presentation? How can you test your video playback?
Well, you can pretend you're in a meeting, just not have any other invitees, surely.
Mm-hmm.
And play it and record it and then view it back, possibly.
Mm-hmm. You can record it, yeah.
Are you saying there's not clear rules as to what to do, or?
Well, no, what I'm asking is what can you do before your presentation to test and troubleshoot your video playback?
I'd just ask a friend, come in, watch this. Tell me what you
Ask
think.
a friend to come in?
Yeah.
Yep, brilliant. Yeah, you can actually be your own friend if you have another device.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can join the meeting, play a meeting over here. You put headphone jacks in every device and put them on mute so that you don't get any feedback. And then you can see on multiple devices in the same room how it's streaming and how it looks. So those are some fun ways that you can test and troubleshoot the tech. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to get into some interactive exercises. So I'm going to share my screen again here. And we're going to talk about virtual collaboration. There are 3 whiteboard tools that I like to use, and I'd like to go through each of these in turn. The Zoom whiteboard is built right here into the Zoom interface. And so it's something that we can use here. But the whiteboard it doesn't give us the ability to put images down. We can't use an image on the whiteboard. We can't bring anything else in. We have to draw everything manually, unless you do it on a slide. Some of you who were in my presentation on Wednesday learned about this, this weird backdoor that Zoom offers that a lot of people don't know about. You can open your annotation toolbar here, and you can stamp and add text onto this slide. Nice. Somebody's got the hearts going. Yeah. Everybody try and write on here. Go ahead and open your annotation toolbar. And if we were going to do this empathy map, we would have everybody collaborate.
How do I find the annotation toolbar?
We've got some instructions over here on the right.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sure. And depending on your device, it might be in one of a few different places.
Okay.
On the Zoom toolbar.
Great. You found the arrows. Excellent. So the nice thing about the annotation toolbar, when you can train your participants on how to access it, is you can use it on any shared screen. As a matter of fact, if I switch slides, all of our annotations stay there. So it does have some deficiencies. I can use my annotation toolbar to clear everybody's drawings to move back, but what I typically prefer to do is to use a different whiteboard altogether. And that's what I want to show you with Jamboard. Okay, so
sorry, Caelan, can I get you just to hold up for a minute?
Sure
so
thing.
I can't find these things on my I can't find any of these.
The
things.
annotation toolbar.
Depending on, if I shrink my Zoom window, I have a more button that, but it still doesn't. Yeah, I don't have those things on here at all. So I'm obviously looking in the wrong place, or something's going on. Oh, sorry. View options, annotate.
There you go. It's tricky.
I was looking in the wrong place.
Oh, Maureen, I was exactly the same. So thank you for flagging.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Okay.
Yeah, it's tricky to find. Let's go ahead and bring this full screen again. Do you want to go ahead and try putting on a stamp?
Yes,
or
please.
doing a drawing? Yeah, let's go ahead and do some digital graffiti.
Can you make them bigger?
Okay, thank you. I feel better now.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Nice. Okay, I can use the chat again. Woohoo! So now I'm putting a link in your chat box for Jamboard. Jamboard is a free Google tool, and the Jamboard is ostensibly a piece of hardware. And if for any reason you can't get to the website and access the Jamboard, I'm going to continue sharing my screen, and I'm going to go there as well, so that if you want to just follow along with me, then you can keep the Zoom window open and watch that. But if you can access this Jamboard, go ahead and jump in. Great. So there's this button on the left that called Sticky Note. And it's a square with a couple of lines in it. Yeah, just write hello on a sticky note and put it on the Jamboard.
How do you join the Jamboard?
The link in the chat box.
Oh, do you just click on that?
You just click on that. That's right.
Okay, gotcha.
What's nice about the Jamboard is that if you put the settings correct, then people don't need to even sign in with their Google account. On the screen share, I'm going to demonstrate this so you can see this on the recording. You go to share and you change the permissions so that anyone with the link can edit. Those are the permissions. The default permissions are you have to invite somebody to it. But if you click the blue button in the corner that says share, and then you change the link so that anyone with the link can edit, then you copy that link and you give it to somebody and they can go right in. So Jamboard is a piece of hardware that Google piloted a few years ago, and they made it so that you could have a visual whiteboard, a physical whiteboard in one room, and have people calling in from other areas who use this to interact with it, and it shows up on the physical whiteboard. It's pretty neat. But this back-end tool, it actually works without the piece of hardware. So it's functionally a free whiteboard.
Can you, I'm just trying to think, we use Miro. Do you know that tool?
Mural?
Yeah. And
that is
no,
the
not
next
Miro,
one
no, not Mural, M-I-R-O.
Oh, Miro. Yes, I do know Miro.
And we, so that you've actually can have the video screens of the individuals up, and you can actually move them around on your whiteboard. Does this have functions like that? Do you use this much?
Jamboard does not. I don't use Jamboard as much as I use Mural, which is similar to Miro, and I've dropped a link into the chat box for Mural. And what I like so much about Mural is that not only can you add images, which I forgot to mention, you can do in Jamboard as well. You can drop images right onto the canvas, but Mural has a lot of predefined templates. And it says, like, this is a design ops canvas. And if you're wanting to do some brand building and some interrogation about your company's mission, then this is something that you can use, that everybody on the team can participate in order to provide some ideas. So if you're watching this on the screen share or the replay, I'm just going to go ahead and go through some of the options on the menu on the left. And if you've clicked the link and gone into Mural, then feel free to start playing with these tools. The first option is the text option, and they give you a bunch of different options for sticky notes. And you can just select a sticky note and write things. And then you can move these sticky notes around the canvas. You can change their size. You can stack them on top of each other. And below the text option where they keep the sticky notes, you can draw things. There's arrows you can draw. So if you want to connect different ideas, you can. And then they have an option for icons, where you can select an icon. But what I really like is the images. If you click on the image icon to the left, it'll let you do a search, not just for images, but also for GIFs. So if you want to punctuate something with a funny cat GIF, let's say, then you can add these right onto the whiteboard.
Is that are those functions available to visitors to the screen, or just those who have the app?
I have a
paid...
Because
I can't see it.
Oh, you can't see it?
I can't see the menu, the toolbar.
On the left-hand side?
No.
Really?
Yep. I'm just trying to see how... No, I can't see it.
Okay, well, I'm opening this in an incognito window, so I'm coming in as a fresh account. And what I like about Mural is it allows people to visit as anonymous.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because I entered as a visitor. Is anyone else on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to...
Have you got the toolbar? Have you got the toolbar down the side?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so it's me. Don't worry.
Have you been drawing, Maureen? Sometimes
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was drawing. It let me choose those. I've got those selections at.
And does it say, are you done?
Oh, maybe I know.
Click
Yes,
out of
sorry. Yep.
Drawing.
Thank you.
Great, you bet. Yeah, yeah. And I tried this on a in an incognito browser, and I was able to get the menu too. So. Now the host does need to have a paid account in order to allow people to enter with one click. Otherwise, if you have a free account, you can use Mural, but people will have to register for Mural accounts in order to participate.
And so you think this is better than Miro?
Miro, yeah. When I audited both of them about 3 or 4 months ago, and for myself, I decided that Mural was superior.
Thank you.
But Miro is also a very good tool. So what do we think about the whiteboards? Can you see how you would use these in your own presentations?
One of the things I find is that you need to make sure that people are a bit queued up. If they've never used the whiteboards before, they need to go in and play a bit before participating in a session, or you need to pitch a session to absolute beginners. Yeah.
And allow that time for them to learn, because that can take time to get everyone to learn it.
Yeah.
Because there's often a kind of panicky feel if there's not a familiarity with the interface or the
You're absolutely
or they
right.
get angry and frustrated.
Yeah.
That's not fun.
Yeah, especially if you want to gather their contributions and their creativity. Yeah, what I find is useful is to have a demo session where, just like we did today, we just do stupid stuff. Just throw stuff in there. You can also have some, you can gamify it a little bit by having some goals for people to do, you know, like see if you can add a funny cat gif, see if you can do that, see if you can do this thing over here, and have it be very low stakes and have that a separate meeting than when you actually use the tool.
It's great.
Yeah.
And I think also the way you use whiteboards at the start, at the pre-show entertainment, that's a good time for people to be learning it and being comfortable. And then they take those skills for later on. I think that's quite cool the way you do that.
Great. Yeah. So I'm looking at the time here. We've got about 13 minutes left, and I do have one additional piece of training that is a little dense. And it's how to create calendar invitations so that you don't have to register. We could take this time to do Q&A, or we could go into the calendar invitation. So does anybody have any opinions one way or the other?
I'm okay with either.
Okay, well, I'm happy to stay after the top of the hour if for Q&A. So if we want to have some questions go on longer than that, then that's totally fine by me. But if anybody needs to leave at 12, then, you know, please skedaddle. But I'll go ahead and I'll share with you this, this way to get around the whole registration. So these are 3 ways you can get a calendar link for your Zoom event. And the 2 ways that you can get people to show up is either A, they register through Zoom. They go to the default landing page, they fill out the form, and then Zoom sends them emails that have the link in them. Personally, I don't like Zoom's opt-in pages. I think they're really kind of ugly, and I use my opt-in pages separately. So I tend to do my my notifications through my own email program. But these 3 options here, excuse me, I want to get this, I want to copy this so I can paste it in chat for you. And this is also going to be in with the replay as well. And I'm going to go through each of these real quickly. So I'm going to go to Zoom and make a new meeting, okay? And I'm just going to walk through this. So if I'm not going to be sending email invitations through Zoom, and I'm not going to be providing links through the Zoom registration emails, then what I can do is I can just create a meeting and give them a link so they can attend. You had this happen today in today's meeting. What I did was I scheduled a meeting, and this is my example meeting. And this is going to happen today at 12:30. I'll just give myself a little bit of time. It'll be 2 hours long, and then all the other stuff that we do, let's just go ahead and save it. Now I'm going to edit this meeting, or I'm going to look at these two options here. There's the Google Calendar and the Outlook Calendar. With the Google Calendar, I can click this button and it'll say, hey, can I add this to your Google Calendar? And I'll say, sure, go ahead and add it to the Google Calendar. And there's a couple of specific steps you can do to get the Zoom, the calendar link with the Zoom link in it. So I'm going to go to More Actions, scroll all the way to the bottom, and go to Publish Event. And then I get this link. When you have this link, you can share this with somebody. I'm in an incognito window, so I'm logged in as nobody. And when I open this link, it's going to say, hey, who are you? So forgive me, I've got to log in real quick so that you can see this. And what it's going to do is it's going to automatically add this to my Google Calendar. So when somebody is looking at this on their calendar, they literally just click on the link. So that's the first way. I don't personally like the Google Calendar as much because there's a sign-in step. What I like doing is the Outlook Calendar. And I don't use Outlook Calendar, but the reason that I do this is because I get this download file. I can open this download file and add it directly to my calendar. So now I have this example meeting. It's got all the call-in info, right? It's got the link right in the invitation. And so there's two things I can do here. I can either add invitees and invite people by email so that they get this same meeting and they get the Zoom link. Or, and this is what gets a little more complicated, is you can mail the event. And if you mail the event, you'll get an attachment. And this attachment right here is what you can download. And I know I'm getting into some really tricky stuff here. So if you need to review this on the recording, feel free. When I go to downloads, I get this right here. And I can rename this to example meeting. And once you have this in your own folder, you can upload this to the web via FTP. You can add it to a WordPress media library. You can add this file somewhere and then use that URL. And that's what I did in today's meeting, is I did all of those steps to provide you with a URL that says, hey, do you want a calendar invitation? So that way we get to the point where for the attendee, it's as frictionless as possible. They say, oh, great, I have this meeting on my calendar. I click on the event, I click on the Zoom link, and I'm in. You don't have to register. You don't have to search your email. It's right there in the calendar. So I know that was really dense and it was a lot of material. Did that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Glad to hear it.
Yeah. Great to know.
Yeah. Well, before we jump into Q&A, I want to tell you about the final thing I wanted to share with you today, which is the Zoom Host Intensive. What you did today was actually the first workshop of the 4 workshop series. The Zoom Host Intensive covers a lot of the things that we covered today, but it gets into more detail of the things behind the Zoom Host checklist. And the Zoom Host checklist, before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and drop that into chat so that you've got the link to that too. It's a really dense PDF that goes through all the things that I do before a Zoom meeting. And the next 3 sessions of the Zoom Host Intensive are further deep dives into how to be a better Zoom host. Since you've attended today, I want to offer you a coupon for 25% off the full Zoom Host Intensive. You can just put in TW20. And no matter what the price is, that's always going to be 25% off. And people who complete this program also get a digital badge. It's worth a continuing education credit in the United States. I'm not qualified with NZQA yet, but I'm working on it. But this digital badge is recognized by LinkedIn and the Open Badges Protocol. And some of the things that we covered today was iceboard and whiteboard exercises, or icebreaker and whiteboard exercises. And I go deeper into exercises you can do in breakout rooms and to further engagement with your team. We cover a lot of different types of questions to facilitate good conversation. And we go deep into some of the tech. I even teach people how to manage their recordings and how to live stream to YouTube and to Facebook. And I got into doing this because when the quarantine hit, a lot of people who taught face-to-face workshops had to suddenly go remote. And so I started working with government agencies on training their trainers how to use Zoom. And I found out that a lot of the work wasn't necessarily in tech. A lot of the work was in providing a safe space for people to practice, for people to launch breakout rooms, for people to try launching their own polls, so that before they had to go to the public and share in front of their own audience, they were able to share in a safe space and get constructive feedback. And I've been giving this training to teachers who are preparing for teaching virtually next year, to coaches who have group programs. A lot of the speakers that I work with are now having to deliver virtually online. But I've been finding a lot of productive work with managers, because managers used to be able to get their team in a room and get everybody on the same page. And how do you do that when we're all virtual? And you have to be adept with using the Zoom interface to be able to do that. Some of the things that we cover in the other 3 workshops are how to optimize your connection speed so that you have the highest resolution. We do more facilitating of breakout rooms. We practice doing our own polls, and we role play with each other on how to become a good Zoom host. And I feel that in this period of time, the better that we can facilitate good Zoom meetings, the stronger connections that we can make with our communities. And that's why I'm doing this work. And so if you'd like to get the digital badge for the Zoom Host Intensive, you can go to zoomhostintensive.com and fill out an expression of interest there. But for today, that is the end of our presentation. So I'm going to give you this last link to our slides, and I will email you all recordings of the presentation with all the links that we've discussed today.
Thank you. Great stuff. Great.
My pleasure. I've really enjoyed spending time with you today.
Yeah.
So now I'd like to open the floor to questions. What kind of questions can I answer for you? Yes, Kirsty.
Yeah, I have a technical one. So a lot of the time in all the stuff that's written in the Zoom chat, people want to capture that. I don't know if my organization likes to lock down a lot of the Zoom settings. So I don't know if it's just me, but is there any way I can't copy and paste out of there? I can't get the chat without actually enlarging it and going print screen, print screen, print screen.
Oh, no kidding. That's lame.
Yeah.
Well, I'll let you know what I do. One of my processes is that when I'm uploading a recording, I take the recording down from Zoom and I upload it to YouTube as an unlisted video. And then in the description, I add a link to a text file that I keep on my servers, so that as part of my process, when I have a recording, I download the chat file, rename it, and upload it to my servers and put it in the description of the replay, so that way if somebody's watching the replay, there's a link nearby with the entire chat log.
Yeah, not allowed to record.
Oh, really?
Yeah, security and privacy reasons.
I've just clicked on the 3 dots as where you would normally type to the chat, and I clicked Save Chat and then opened it in the folder, and it's a TXT file. I might be in the same situation as you. I mean, I'm at home at the moment, possibly at work. The firewalls will do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'll have to it and see, but I can definitely open the TXT file at home.
Okay, I might try that in a work Zoom and see if that option comes up, but so annoying.
Well, yeah, I think that might be a permissions issue.
Yeah.
I just did what Shannon recommended by downloading the chat file, and so now I've uploaded it as a file.
Yeah, so I can do it on this one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great.
So I'll have a play.
The only other way of doing it will be to use your own personal device for the meeting.
Not allowed. Security and privacy. Yeah, it's pretty tight.
Yeah, firewalls are difficult. There's always going to be landmines with them.
Thank you so much. That's great.
Hey, my pleasure. Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Did you tell us the price for doing the intensive?
Well,
Your intensive?
right now the price is $1,000 per person. And I'm working with some larger agencies that need an entire team trained. And so for those, I do negotiate on a per team basis.
Cool.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to drop out now. So
Great. Thanks, Maureen.
there's another one at 12. Cheers, guys. Nice to meet you. All the best.
Nice meeting you too.
Yeah.
Well, I have a question. What's something that you learned today that you're going to implement in a future meeting?
From this one and the other one you did, I am definitely going with the pre-show blackboards and making more use of the whiteboard, blackboard situation. I love it.
Great. Yeah, I find it really fun. I wish it was easier for participants to join up, you know, but when people do get in it, it's really fun.
And it would be super cool if you could copy and paste into a whiteboard.
Oh, if you could paste images in there.
Yeah. But hey, there's the PowerPoint slides, so that works.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's the gaming that goes on with selection and group activity. So there were some really great tips that I think I can make use of in some of my situations too, which is more school orientated learning. But yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, that Flippity. I'm going to have a look at Flippity and go through all those tools.
I love it. It's so good.
Yeah.
There's some in there that do where you can do Mad Libs. And
Cool.
so it'll just have like a list, you know, give me an adjective and give me and so you can screen share and ask everybody for it and then read aloud, and everybody has a fun time with that one.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think that point about connection and how to set connection is really quite crucial. And so it's great to have them.
Yeah, and that's something I've learned a lot this year, because I came into this from the perspective of a speaker. I've been a public speaker for a long time. And when you're a speaker, you stand on stage and you talk to people and there's not really any interaction. And when I started delivering that way through Zoom, I was getting a lot of blank faces. I'd see those white lights come up because people are navigating to other browsers, and I wasn't really getting attention. And so I talked with some of my friends who were facilitators, and they don't speak at people. They collect what people are thinking and saying. And I started learning a lot about the strategy behind that and how it creates a group energy that you don't get with an audience, because the group has to participate to feel like they're part of it. And I think you're right. It's really crucial.
Yeah, and how to harness those particular kind of learning dispositions that people have. So I notice I respond really well to hearing people's voices through Zoom. So even though I can't see someone eye to eye, I can hear, and the quality of voice comes through. I absorb more that way. It's an interesting experience, this whole, Zoom connectivity. And how it works for me, but then more increasingly more how it works in group context. I went on a workshop where someone with a clowning background was actually running through some improv techniques for generating a kind of energy in the Zoom rooms, if you like, which was really interesting and worked really well.
Yeah, improv is such a great way to get people to participate. And it's just full of games. That's all it is. It's let's play a game.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that COVID would lead to increased demand for clowns?
Right.
Literally within the space of a week, second person with a clowning background.
Yeah.
It's the clowns that will survive.
Sure.
I love it. Yeah, that's great. Hey, look, Caelan, thank you so much. And